checks, we're fucking up the scrubs. Yeah, you know the name, ATF gang. ATF.
Today's reaction video, we react to Andy Card take down all the statues. I don't know who is it, the drill sergeant or operator Sam or somebody, but normally I don't know what Angry Cop is really up to. If you watch my Angry Cop reaction videos before, definitely consider subscribing, man. I've been doing it for a whole year, reacting to a whole bunch of videos, and now YouTube have it too to tell me if you don't subscribe or not. So my last video, about 55% you did not subscribe to the channel. Let's go ahead and hit the subscribe button. It's just the only reaction video I do for Andy Cops. I do a shit ton of content, and I post daily, so you're never bored during quarantine. But you know what? Let's dive into the reaction video.
Operator Sam is back, baby, and I'm here to
Operator Sam is back. Let's go.
drop some knowledge on you. Statue General Lee, down.
Damn.
Statue Stonewall Jackson, down. George Washington, down. Abraham Lincoln, down. Angry mobs across the United States are tearing down statues left and right.
I'm so tired of this topic, but this is this Angry Cop reaction video. I have to listen to his rant.
Because they're offensive. But are they? Are all of these statues offensive?
No.
And what if they are offensive? Instead of giving you a black and white, I'm all for it or I'm all against it, I'm gonna dabble in the gray today. The United States past is controversial, and I can understand people being upset about Confederate generals being poised and pushed up there in front of the public eye for people to admire, when the Civil War was the most devastating war the United States has ever been. We lost the most amount of individuals, Americans, in that war, far beyond any other one that we've ever been involved with.
Exactly. And the thing is, me, when I see those statues, and it's me being my skin color, I see it as a reminder of what we should not be doing. Like, America right now is so close. Like, literally, if it could be one more incident, I wouldn't be surprised if it be a second civil war, just because of racism, basically. And the thing is that people don't accept that everybody is racist, but when it comes down to police brutality, is really our skin color getting more of the heat. So not really statistically speaking, I'm just free speaking about this because I'm so tired of hearing this. George Floyd, it was an unfortunate way to die, but can we just move on? We got better things to worry about. When that happened, apparently Corona disappeared, and now it's back again. And timelines and time freeze, man. I'm just so over this.
It pitted brother against brother. Families split. Dinner tables became feuds. Seems a little familiar, concerning the current status of the world today. Let's talk about removal. You want to remove a Confederate statue? Fine. I've got no issues with that. But vote on it. Don't just create an...
Vote. He said the word I've been saying since this shit started going off. Vote. Vote. Vote.
Angry mob with torches and pitchforks and spray paint and just tear that thing down. That's not what America's about. We're not about mob rule. A group of people terrorizing others and not letting them speak their mind and demanding their views and only their views be seen is wrong. It doesn't matter on what side of the aisle you're on. If General Lee Town of Virginia, whatever the face, wants to change its name because they don't feel that that's appropriate, then have a vote. If people don't want to have Confederate General Stonewall Jackson's monument up, we'll vote and have it removed or replaced with something else.
Yes.
Give a private entity an option to purchase that monument so then they can put it up in a private gallery. That way, everybody wins. History is preserved, and people can say, hey, let's move on and make this area different. Playing devil's advocate, not every Confederate statue is about states' rights. Some of these statues were put up well past the 50-year mark of the end of the Civil War. And some of those statues were meant to be a visual representation of what people thought of black Americans in the South.
Yep.
Hey, look, we got Robert E. Lee up in our town, so that better show you that you ain't welcome here, son. And that's what some of them were for. Let's not be naive. But to take every single one of them down, let's be realistic. Germany, in an attempt to wipe the slate clean, was demolishing concentration camps and any evidence of the Third Reich. Even the Germans, who were embarrassed and ashamed of their past, fought to preserve a portion of it. I can't imagine that conversation going over too well.
I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that either. Like, that's gotta be awkward, really. But I digress.
Und ja, guys, we're off here, okay? Maybe we shouldn't tear down these concentration camps. Maybe we should, in fact, keep them there so that people can look at this from the future and say, oh, look, it's the past. Heinous things were happening, and perhaps we should be aware of the evils that men can do. Possibly in the future, we can look at it and say, hey, there's some red flags going on over here. We don't want this to happen again, so, we should keep this around.
Facts.
I know, very controversial. Side note, Arlington National Cemetery has Confederate soldiers buried within it, along with a very large and ornate Confederate monument to those that passed away in the Confederate States during the Civil War. I dare somebody to go into Arlington National Cemetery and tear that down.
I dare them to.
But now the mob has decided that the Founding Fathers are offensive. Statues of Thomas Jefferson and George Washington.
What? Seriously, what? The people that I'm not gonna rant this video.
Are being pulled down because they were slave owners. Well, let me show you a little bit into the eye of history there, guy. Thomas Jefferson, before the United States was independent, said, I don't want to have slaves no more. And King George said, nah, guy, you are a British colony. You're going to own slaves. That's my rule. You're going to follow it. Deal with it.
Facts.
Well, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and a whole bunch of the other boys decided to sign the Declaration of Independence, which had a major paragraph notating the grievance that our founding fathers had with slave ownership. Even when the United States became the states, Thomas Jefferson penned anti-slavery laws in Vermont. Slave ownership was bad. We all realize that. But the Founding Fathers laid the groundwork so that every man, woman, and child could be equal. But now, nothing's safe. Even a statue of Abraham Lincoln is going to be torn down. Or at least it's getting threatened to be torn down.
What?
And why? Why is it so offensive? It was paid for by freed slaves in Texas, showing a African-American slave breaking his chains, looking forward into the future as Abraham Lincoln signs the Emancipation Proclamation. My God, how offensive. What could your argument possibly be for tearing down a monument depicting the freeing of slaves that was paid for by freed slaves?
Paid for by our people, by the way.
Madison, Wisconsin.
If you don't know how to read between the lines, if you're reacting to my video, look at my skin color, like, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, no, I'm being dead ass.
Decided to tear down a statue of Hans Christian Heg, an abolitionist. That means somebody that was fighting to free slaves who passed away in the Civil War fighting for the Union.
Exactly.
Oh, I can see why you're riled up. That son of a bitch wanted equality for all his fellow men. Oh, disgusting. Even a bust of Ulysses S. Grant was torn down. The guy that led the Union Army against the Confederacy to make America free and unify it once more.
Y'all see, all these dumb motherfuckers and all this generation who don't pay attention to school, who will always go on electronics they will never learn this fucking history. They want to do other things like party, drink, everything, but when they get mad about one thing, now they want to tear down everything in America. Y'all some fucking idiots. Maybe I should not say it like that before you put a yellow tag on my thing, but I'm just gonna say it as it is.
Why was this guy torn down?
Yeah.
So are they pro-slavery now? I'm confused. The craziness continues all the way to New York, where the statue of Theodore Teddy Roosevelt is being torn away from the Natural History Museum, which his family used to own. Why? Because it's offensive. It shows him above everybody on a horse with a Native American and a black man next to him. You know what that shows? Says all the naysayers. The hierarchy of the white man. Oh, Teddy Roosevelt, how dare you? Wait a second. Perhaps he's on a goddamn horse because he was in the fucking cavalry as a Rough Rider, which, wouldn't you know, happened to bring a whole bunch of Ivy League students, some badass dudes on the western side of the states, and Native Americans together to fight in the Spanish-American War? Oh my God, all these people being unified underneath a man that sits on a horse and leads them into battle? What are we thinking? Holy shit, what about the black guy to the left of him? Well, it just so happens Teddy Roosevelt was a flaming racist. Wrong again there, people. Teddy Roosevelt invited the first black American to the White House.
Facts.
Booker T. Washington. Read up on him and the fantastic things he did for the African American community after the Civil War. Oh, and he was his liaison as a leader for the black community in America. Oh, but Teddy Roosevelt, he's sitting on top of a horse. What a disgusting piece of shit he is. Yep. Let's just tear down every piece of history that we have so that there is nothing, absolutely nothing but the present. Wow. Doesn't that sound like a beautiful utopia that I don't want to live in? Do you even know the story of Teddy Roosevelt? He's the spirit of every American that there ever was to be an American. The kid was a cripple when he was little, weak. He started doing weights, got bigger, got stronger. Fought the disease that he was born with, ended up becoming a freaking great politician, went to Ivy League schools, led people into combat, created the park system, fought for equality. Facts. I'm starting to think that the people that want to tear down all these tyrannical statues are in fact tyrannical. And where are all these elected officials that can put their foot down and say no? And so I ask you, America, who's gonna protect these monuments? Oh, bro, are you saying that you need a dude to guard some monuments of American history, dude? Oh, righteous. Hey, I totally found my Hawaiian shirt, man. Total less nipple chafage, bro. This vest is heinous on the raw nips, bro.
Yeah.
Don't make me use him.
Yeah, that push up. Don't make me use him. Shit, I don't want to use him either. You don't want that kind of. Make sure you like. I'm just kidding. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Comment down your opinions down below, please. I would love to hear all your opinions. Let's talk about it. Personally, it's dumb. It's a waste of time. We should be focusing more on better things, or just simply vote. That's it. And read up on your history. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.